Let's face it, guys, unless you're a complete purist, most artists out there are using photos to create their artwork. And if you want to end up with good quality artwork, you probably need a good photo reference. In this video, I'm going to share 3 tips that you can use to gather better photo references yourself. Let's get going. So if you want a good drawing or painting and you're using photos, you need a good photo reference. It's like super important. So in this video, I'm going to give you 3 tips that I think will really help. Tip number 1, take your own photos. Okay, now I get it. It's super easy, right? Let's say that I'm really into drawing squirrels for some reason. Why would someone be really into drawing squirrels? I could go to Google, type in squirrels, and come up with hundreds of thousands of images of furry little woodland creatures, right? So that is a really easy way to go about finding photo references. But here's the deal. If you're ever going to do anything with that photo, most of the time it's going to technically be copyrighted, okay? And we don't want to plagiarize. Plus, a lot of times the photos that you find online are just not that good of photos, right? You have to understand, sometimes what makes a good photograph does not make a good photo reference for artwork. When you take your own photos, you're taking complete control of the process. Copyright, no longer an issue. Plus, when you take a photo of something that you like, there's a reason that you liked it, right? So there's something about that that perked your interest and said, ooh, this could be a good artwork. And you're in the context of the moment. And so, you kind of have a better understanding of what's going on when you took that photo. And so I believe that you'll be able to translate that into your paintings much easier. Tip number 2, you have to have good lighting in your photo. Now, this is a big topic that I could make a whole video on in and of itself, which I'll probably do sometime down the road. But you need good lighting to have a good photo reference. The thing that we really need to have, it's absolutely critical if you're going to do a representational drawing and make it feel 3-dimensional, you have to have good shadows. Look at this example. So for this photo, I stood in a light-filled room and stood underneath some bright lights that were above me and slightly in front of me. And as you can see, the resulting photo is a portrait that has hardly any shadows in it. And what that does is that flattens my face out. It makes the background look super flat, and it's just not very exciting. Now compare that photo to this one. This photo looks way more dynamic and interesting. Why is that? It's because there are good shadows in the photo. To take this photo, I literally turned off the lights in the studio and went and stood by a window with natural light coming in from one side, and it created these really nice distinct shadows on the side of my face. The background looks interesting. Overall, it results in a much more dynamic reference. Now, the easiest way to do this, if you don't want to go out and buy some fancy studio lights, is to simply go outside. You have a fantastic single light source outside called the sun. So if you go out on a sunny day, you could take a whole bunch of reference photos and you're going to get some really good shadows, and it's going to work great. And my 3rd tip to using good photo references is to be flexible, okay? So many times we get into this mode where we're using a photo that we took as a reference and we think that, oh man, I gotta include every little detail that's in that photo. Everything that's there, I gotta do it. This weird like black shape over here, I have no idea what that is, but because it's in the photo, gotta include it. No, you don't. You don't need to include it. A photo is just a starting point, okay? It's something to get you going. And then as you develop the piece, feel free to move things around. Maybe that weird black shape doesn't need to be there. Maybe you've got a tree over here that could move 10 feet to the left, right? Maybe that makes a better composition. Figure out what it is that's going to lead to the best final product. Because at the end of the day, a viewer, when they view your work, they're not going to be comparing your work to the photo, right? They're just going to be looking at the artwork. So the artwork needs to be able to stand on its own. So I'm curious, what do you guys do when you look for reference photos? Do you just use pictures that are on your phone? Do you go do an online search for pictures to see what you can find? Do you have a professional setup that you use with a DSLR and special lighting and whatever else? Leave your thoughts in the comments. I'd be interested to hear how you guys handle it. On that note, if you guys found this video to be helpful or valuable to you, I'd really encourage you to share it with other people you know. Hit that like button and subscribe so you can see more content like this in the future. With that being said, get out there and draw something.